All right, guys, we got relations and functions today. Relations and functions. Two other words we got to have before we get to those two words are domain and range. You've heard those words before. Domain, I want you to think about this. I'm going to give you a great gesture for it tomorrow. I know you're excited. Domain is just the x's. It's the x's. It's what you can put in for x. It's the x coordinates. So it's all about the x. The range or the y's. It's what you can get for y when you put in the x's. It's the y coordinates. So the domain is the x. The range is the y. Don't forget that. Okay, a relation. That's one of our words in our title today. Relation is any set of ordered pairs, like any set at all. And what I have down here is I got a big picture, and I have the same set of ordered pairs, which are relations, looked at in three different ways. Okay, three different ways you can write them. One, this is where you're used to seeing them. Like if you would take a point like this and graph it usually. But there's your x's, obviously. There's your y coordinates. You get your x coordinate and y coordinates. You can also have a table with your x's and your y's. You can graph them with your x-axis right here and your y-axis right there. You can do what's called a mapping diagram where like -2 goes with -2, but -2 also goes with +2, which is, you can see those over there in your ordered pairs. The 0 goes with the 1. The 3 goes with the 1. Okay, so ordered pairs, relations, are any set of ordered pairs, and these are all the four ways you can represent them. And yeah, let's keep going. Considering a relation given by these set of ordered pairs. Okay, so there's ordered pairs. This says identify the domain and the range. Well, the domain is just the x's. So domain is going to be -2, -1, 1, 2, 3, because those are the x coordinates. The range is going to be the y's, the y coordinates. -3, 1, 3, -2, 1. Those are all the y coordinates. And it says represent the relation using a graph. If I'm going to graph those, the first point is -2, -3, which is down here. The second point is -1, 1, which is up here. Then it's 1, 3, which is right there. Then it's 2, -2, which is down here. And there's the graph of all those, of the relation or the set of ordered pairs. Then it says use a mapping diagram. So if we can use a mapping diagram, I'm going -2. I'm trying to. I'll keep moving the screen around a little bit, as has been happening lately. I'm going to change colors here. Maybe that will help. I have -2, -1, 1, 2, and 3. Those are my x's. -2 goes to -3, so I'll draw a little arrow like that. The -1 goes with 1, so I'm going to draw an arrow to that. 1 goes with 3, going to draw an arrow to that. 2 goes with -2, draw an arrow to that. And 3 goes with 1. Oops, I already have a 1, so I draw that arrow up to the 1. Okay, so that's a mapping diagram. Function. This is probably the most important word of the day because we're going to do functions probably the rest. Well, we are the whole rest of the school year. So a function is a relation, which means it's a set of ordered pairs for which each input has exactly one output. We're going to say this a lot. Every x has one y. Every x has exactly one y. Exactly. Every x has exactly one y. And here's what we mean by that. This one says tell whether it's a function or not. Well, the first one, I'm going to say yes. And the reason is if you look at all these x's on this side, look at the arrows. The -3 is just going there. The -1 is just going there. The 2 is just going there. The 4 is just, so every x is going to one y, or every input is going to one output. Now, if you look at part B, I'm going to say no. And what messes it up is this crazy 1 right here, because that 1 is going to two different places. That x has two different y's. Remember, if it's a function, every x can only have one y. This one right here has two y's, therefore that's not a function. Another way you can tell if something is a function is by doing the vertical line test. And the vertical line test says you can look at the graph, like this one is a function because if that blue is the graph, by the way, the blue is a parabola. And if you look at the red vertical line, that red vertical line only intersects that graph in one point. If it just touches once, just intersects at one point, that's a function. This one's not a function over here, and you can see that I know I'm writing it. It's not a function because that red line, that sideways parabola, that blue sideways parabola right here, gets intersected twice, once there, once there. And the reason it does that is because that's the same x. So that x right there, which x is 2, has that y up there and that y down there. So the x has more than one y, so it's not a function. The vertical line test, if your vertical line hits the graph one time, it's a function. If it's more than once, it's not. Last thing, tell whether a function is linear. That's a yes or no, then evaluate when x is -4. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell you this real quick. If there's any exponent in your function that is not 1, it's not linear. If it has an x squared, x cubed, x fourth, it doesn't matter. Any exponent other than 1 is not linear. So we would say no. But we still have to do this part. It says -4. So the way you write that is this. You say f of -4. Now I'm going to put a -4 in everywhere I see an x, just like this. And then I'm just going to work it out, okay? So if I square -4, I get 16, but there's a negative in the front, so the negative stays. -2 times -4 is 8, plus 7. I'm just going to add those up. That'd be -8 plus 7, that's -1. Now the second one is going to be a yes. Whoa. Second one's going to be a yes, because there's no exponents. The x has a 1 on it, which is fine. That's all you can have. If you were to graph that, that would be a line, which we're going to learn about pretty soon. And a vertical line can only touch a line in one spot, so we're good there. So I'd say yes. Then I got to find g of -4, which means I got to plug -4 in for the x. 5 times -4 plus 8. That'd be -20 plus 8, which is, of course, -12. All right, and guys, that's all we got today. Not a huge deal. Not a whole lot of math stuff. So take advantage. Make sure you have to understand the words. You've got to get the words. All right, sounds good. See you tomorrow. Can't wait. Bye.